Hello students, this video is meant for class 11 humanities group and I will be taking your political science classes. And before we go back to the normal classes that you were familiar with before your mathematic exam is right now not possible, and in this new normal world as it is being described, we have to depend on the videos and on this kind of interaction between the teachers and the students. And for that, cooperation on both the sides are equally important. Otherwise, most of the subjects are new to it, or rather you will be learning many more things in class 11 than what you have learned in class 10. And we have to depend on these videos. I will give you one or two instructions. That is, the book, the prescribed book for the class 11 political science is An Introduction to Political Science, class 11 by Utpal Roy. I am repeating, An Introduction to Political Science, class 11 by Utpal Roy. That is the prescribed textbook for you. And another thing, number 2 instruction, that is, you will make a copy for political science where you will write down the points I will be showing you in the video, and you will also write down the question answers, the probable question answers that may come from the chapter from the PDF that is attached with each video in the copy, and submit it. Regularly update your copy because that will help you to learn, to know the subject. Don't keep it pending that some other day I will do. Don't do that. Be very regular, update your copy, listen to the announcements, and do submit the copy on time. I have just now told you that this is the only way through which we can maintain the cooperation on both the sides. And this particular political science is, I would say, rather a new subject for you. You may have learned some portions of it along with history, but that is only a fraction of it. So now we are going to learn in detail about the subject. There are many new things that you will come to know. You will get familiar with many new words, and so you have to follow the videos well. If you are having any problem anywhere, do leave a comment in the comment section of the video. And before I get into the subject, or rather I explain the chapters to you, I will tell you that political science as a subject is quite vast. I am trying to explain it to you in the most simplified manner I can, and so follow the videos properly. If you get the book by that time, you go through the chapters also, go through the chapter, or I will tell you the portion that I have done, or I will show in the video, and you will go through it, and then you will, if you have, I have told you, if you have any problem, then obviously you will leave a comment in the comment section. So now let us get into the details of this subject. I will be teaching the first chapter from this textbook, that is Political Science and its Evolution. So the name of the chapter is Political Science and its Evolution. Now before I go into the chapter, I will tell you that you will find words like discipline and dynamic in the very first paragraph of your chapter. What does the word dynamic mean? Dynamic means something that is not static, something that is continuously changing. And discipline means the subject. Here in class 11, when you are studying in detail about a particular subject, we call that a discipline. And political science is a discipline, or what we call a subject. Now, another word that you will find is that of evolution. The word evolution you have heard before in science and life science. Most probably you have learned about evolution. Now, what is evolution? Evolution is a sequence or a stages of development. In the same way, this particular subject, political science, has also developed through a number of stages, and that is how slowly the subject had developed, and we get it in its present form that we are studying. Now, if we want to trace the evolution of the subject, we have to go back to ancient Greece and Rome. You have read about ancient Greece and Rome in history. Now, in ancient Greece and Rome, Philosophers like Plato and Aristotle, they had discussed about politics some 2500 years ago. In fact, more than that. More than 2500 years ago, they had discussed about politics. If you remember your history in the junior classes, you have learned about the social life, economic life and the political life of the people. Now, always there was a portion called political life, and Plato and Aristotle had discussed about the political life or about politics in their writings, in their discussions. Plato had written the book The Republic, Aristotle wrote the book Politics. In these two books, both of them had discussed about politics, how it influences the life of man, how it helps him to live a better life, because always remember, the purpose of life is to live a good life, and a proper political life can assure or give its citizens the security, the requirements, the necessities that they require, and help them to live a proper life. So Plato and Aristotle both had discussed about politics in their book. Plato is called the father of political philosophy, and Aristotle is called the father of political science. Now, Aristotle had systematically studied the subject. Systematically means he had developed a proper way of knowing about politics, and so he is called the father of political science. He had started a way of discussing a subject. Like whenever you read about a particular subject, what do? Do you read in a haphazard manner? No, we never do that. We follow a particular pattern of knowing the subject. So in the same way, Aristotle had developed that, and so he is called the father of political science. So Aristotle and Plato, they belong to Greece. They have helped in the development of the subject. When we are talking about Rome, Cicero, the Roman scholar, he had enriched the subject with his ideas and with his thoughts. So when we are talking about the development of the subject in ancient Greece and Rome, we have to talk about Plato and Aristotle. Aristotle is called the father of political science, and he has written the book The Politics. Plato is called the father of political philosophy, and he has written the book The Republic. Again, the Roman scholar Cicero, he had also enriched the subject with his ideas or with his thoughts and discussions. Then we come to the Middle Age. Now, the Middle Age, if you remember your history, the Middle Age was a period where there was less development in the field of education or in the field of in other fields. And during this time, we see that political science had been mostly developed by the scholars like Saint Augustine, Saint Aquinas, or Saint Thomas. Religion was during the Middle Ages, religion was playing an important part in politics. That is, it was taking a front seat, we can say, and the church was dominating the life of the people. It was in fact telling the people how to live their life. During this time, the writings of Saint Augustine, Saint Aquinas, or Saint Thomas actually had contributed or had helped in the development of the subject. We are not telling that whether their thoughts are acceptable or not. We are not going into that discussions. We are simply trying to say that these scholars or these people have written down their ideas which have helped in the development of the subject. Next, we come to the Renaissance period. What is this Renaissance period? That there was a period when new things or a scientific learning was, or a way of new things were ushered in the life of the people. People now were asking the question why. They wanted to know the answers to these questions, and during this time in political science also we have Machiavelli, who is known as the child of the Renaissance. Why he is called the child of Renaissance? Because of his liberal ideas. The ideas that he had developed mainly because of the Renaissance that was going on in Europe, and so he is called the child of the Renaissance. He is the one who separated politics from morality, religion, and he is also known as the father of modern political thought. I am repeating. Machiavelli is known as the child of Renaissance because of his ideas. He was the first person who had separate political questions or the political life of the people from morality and religion. And he had developed a value-free subject. If you remember, just now I have told you that in the Middle Ages, religion was taking an important place in the political life, rather in the life of the people, and political life was not an exception. Here also the religion was dictating. Then comes Machiavelli, and he is separating religion and politics, the question of morality, values and everything from there, and he is developing a value-free subject, and that is why he is called the father of modern political thought. So we learned about ancient Greece and Rome, the Middle Ages and the Renaissance period. Then comes the contractualist. Now, during this time, the man was having a lot of questions in their mind. You know that when we are talking about political life, I have told you right now that we always read about how the king looked after them, or what was the laws and what were the rules that the people followed, these kinds of questions. And we also get to know the word state. After the Renaissance period, we see that some political scholars, they were trying to explain how the concept of the state had come up, from where we have got the idea of forming a state or a country, how it had all developed. We are not talking about history only, we are trying to view it from the point of view of the political scholars. And when we are talking about this, we get the names of Thomas Hobbes, John Locke and Rousseau, who have given the social contract theory, which tries to explain the origin of the state. They are known as the contractualists in political science. Thomas Hobbes, John Locke and Rousseau, they are known as the contractualists. So their theories have also helped in developing the subject. Then we come to the idealist philosophers. Now in political science, the scholars are grouped under several headings. Like you will hear about individualists, you will learn about the utilitarians, or about the behavioralists. These are the group of scholars who had developed a particular way of explaining the political phenomena or the political happenings in the life of the man. And accordingly, they are termed as idealists, utilitarians or behavioralists. Now, after the contractualists, the idealist philosophers like Kant and Hegel, they were from Germany. They were German philosophers, Kant and Hegel, or Green and Bradley, the British philosophers. They had also contributed towards the development of this subject. Next, we talk about the utilitarians. Who were these utilitarians? Bentham, James Mill, John Austin, J.S. Mill, they were the ones who are termed as utilitarians, and they have developed the political thought. And Bentham's principle of utility, that securing the greatest good of the greatest number is the ultimate aim of society. Bentham said that the ultimate aim of the society is to secure for its people the greatest good of the greatest number. John Austin, he gave the theory of sovereignty. John Stuart Mill, he talks about liberty and representative government. Individualists like J.S. Mill, Herbert Spencer, Adam Smith have also contributed towards the development of the subject. So today I have done till the behavioralism, or till the contribution of the behavioralists towards the development of political science. I have not explained some words that I have used, that is sovereignty or greatest good for the greatest number. What actually is meant by behavioralism or contract, these words I have not mentioned, which I will do in the next video. This was more or less an introductory video for you, so that you get accustomed with the subject. So till the next video, you just go through the chapter and do write down the points that I have shown you in the video. Thank you.